Hey, hi Kate. Welcome in. Thank you for the check-in. Thank you for the first. Jam, what's up? Jam, is there something you want me to call you? Is Jam fine? Or should I call you Doctor? Welcome in. Thank you for the check-in. How's everyone doing today? How's everyone's Saturday? Guys, we're doing open lobbies today, so if you're free and you want to play with a flop like me, make sure you add me on TBD. Monte, how are you? It's been too long. I wish I was first. I wish you were first too, Monte. How are you? Are you gonna play with me today? We're doing open lobbies. Hi, babe. Welcome in. How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody's Saturday? We might just jump right into games today. I'm gonna play one or two warm-up matches before I open the lobbies up. But once lobbies are open, it's anyone's game. First come, first serve, and we'll do two matches per lobby. We might just play the event for funsies. Only 4 days left of it, so why not? You know, run our Gabe builds. Let's just get started then. Ready up. Ready up. Second. There you go. Is this how far my camera's been? Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but we added Umbreon to our little collection. So happy I found Umbreon. Oh. Blood favor. Oh no. Pick up, pick up. Oh god, here we go. First game on, by the way. Whew. Does he just really come back to hook? He does. And he has blood fever, which kind of sucks. Guys, there's no vault there anymore. No! No, I didn't mean to do I didn't mean to do that. Oh man. Ew. Okay, well. I almost wiggled free. His blood fever. His blood fever. No one's gonna come for me and no one's working on Jen. Homeboy's hiding. Why is the Nia hiding over there? You know how I feel about hiders. Like Nia, no one's over there. Nice. Blood fever's gone. What is Nia doing, friends? Nia, please! Not the second hook, friend! Oh god, I was about to cry. Yeah, I'll take this. I'll take this. Oh, no, he doesn't want me. Sounds good. I'll just go for a hook. I'll go for a heal. Oh my god, it's a wrap. It's a wrap on Ellen. Nice. Why would he do that? No! Why did he just go for Ellen? Oh, Ghoul, please. Leave me alone. It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. Oh my god, look at them all hide. Guys, they're all crouched and hiding, friends. Look at them. No one's doing anything but being crouched. What are we doing? What are we doing? My teammates are selling. They hate me. I'm convinced I'm the sacrifice. Nia's doing not a damn thing. The Nia hasn't done anything. Where's this Nia? Okay, here's Nia. I was gonna say, can you heal me, please? Thank you. I thought this wasn't the Nia. Apologies. I take it back. I was like, why aren't you helping? Hi Ash, welcome in. We're running open lobbies today if anybody wants to join. I'll open the lobbies after a few warm-up matches. But I'd love to play with everyone if How are you doing today, Ash? How was your Saturday? I'm doing great. I had a really great day. It was really nice out for the most part. Got some groceries done. Um, had some fucking bomb ass dinner. With some bomb ass margarita. Uh, got some plants. It was a very good day. You're working today. No way. So you're at work on a Saturday. How much longer do you have to work? But your day's pretty good? Okay, that's good. As long as it was still a good day. I think we're just gonna be able to get this gen done. That's about it. Drop that there. He's gonna come right over here. Ooh, that's another hex? What other hex did he have? Alright, I'm gonna go for save, I guess. A few hours, and I always work weekends. It does suck. Oh, I have a new job part-time for, you know, for extra cash flow. And that's probably going to be the case for me. I'll be working like most weekends and nights. Looking forward. I actually have to open the store tomorrow, which is crazy. I work at a plant store. So it's kind of like fun work, and I love the products we sell. But oh, there's another canister over here. But I enjoy the work, and it really does go by quickly. It's really slayed up. No, it's honestly a vibe. Like, I love doing that job. Oh, the canister disappeared. I'm gonna try to go for this save, I guess. Sorry, Nia, for all the shit I talked. I apologize. I'll help you, though. I'm nervous. So much faster when you enjoy the work. Yeah. Like, I kind of enjoy the, like, manual labor of it all. I'm, like, oftentimes just, like, carrying landscaping plants, like, back and forth. And, like, planters and stuff, so... It's, like, very straightforward. Like, I feel like I don't have to think about it much, which is nice. Anyway, what about you? Like, do you feel like your work is going by fast at all? You said you had a good day, so maybe that's the case. Of course. That's my apology to Nia for talking shit. It goes so by so. Yeah, I love plants. That would be a dream. Yeah, it's really fun working with plants, and it's like the first time I've really like worked with like herbs and vegetables too. Like that's just not something I've ever learned how to cultivate and take care of. So being in like the outdoor greenhouse with our herbs and like our annuals and like and other flowers has been really fun and really nice. And there's just something so great about feeling strong, like I'm like lifting like upwards of hundreds of pounds a day, back and forth. Not at once, but like tons of repetition, so it feels nice. Kind of moving, so I can complain, but nothing beats me at home. Hey, look, I'm right there with you. Ellen needs to take this chase, and he can't find me. That's good. It's like good, stable time, like workflow. That's also a great way, especially like on a Saturday where you're like, I would rather be anywhere else, probably, right? So that it's not too busy, and you're not like dreading how hard it is to like get through stuff. I think I'm able to finish this gen. I still don't know what Nia's doing. Everyone. I think she filled this once. Like Nia didn't even have a canister in her hand, by the way. Nia girl. I knew I wasn't tripping. Okay, so she's gonna get hooked at Shack. Okay. Yeah, we're at the other door. We're at the other door. Remember that. Okay. I'm gonna open this door, low key. It's no way out. It's no way out. This is not a drill. No way out. I didn't see I don't see it anywhere. Guys, this is not a drill. We gotta go. Ellen also can't take this down. No! Guys, please! Somebody help me! It's not even this door. It's not even this door, guys! I need somebody to help me! He's cornering me. It's a wrap on Justin. It's a wrap on Justin, please, Ellen! Ellen, I need you! I need you! Ellen! No, I needed y'all like 100 years ago, please! Hi, Momo. My Momo, what's up, Momito? ¿Cómo estás? How was your stream? I was in there at the end. It sounded like a long one. GG's to this W team. Y'all really tried to come back and get me. I appreciate it. I just needed help so bad. Eating him up. Wasn't that such a good little loop I had? Guys, wait. Guys, look at him. Look at him. I got an Umbreon. I'm so excited. Umbreon pillow. I had to. It was a long stream, but good. Hope your stream is off to a good start. Honestly, this is our first game on. We're gonna run some open lobbies. I know you're just hopping off, but hopefully we can get some games today. That'd be great. Cutie baby, I'm so mad. You should have gone out after all that. L team, no, stop. They were trying. Ellen really came back. Ellen was trying to save me. I appreciate it. I appreciated that Ellen coming back. I was like, I was nervous nobody was gonna come back, but to watch like Ellen and Ash come from two different sides, I was like, those are my friends. Or maybe not Ash. What was his name? It wasn't Ash, right? Ash. I'm gonna maybe join labor if I'm not. Yes, please. I would love to play. You know, DVD's not the same when you're playing with me. It's very different, very fun, very demure. You know what I mean? How are you doing? How's Jackbox? Okay. Oh wait, yeah, because you were up so early too. We were in Ken's stream, right? Um, Jackbox was fun. Twitch is an amazing place because you meet people from like all over the place, right? So playing with a bunch of people from around the world is kind of fun. And I don't know how to describe Lizzo. We were playing this game where like you're given a person, place, or thing to describe, but only using the words that they provide. And so I was like really struggling to get people to guess my words. Love the Twitch people for the yes, yeah, exactly. I think Twitch is really like my place to meet people, and it feels so good. And some people are very different off stream. and offline. Like very people are very different in real life, and I've learned that the hard way in a lot of ways. But I've also learned that like I'm pretty authentic. Like I'm authentic on camera and off camera. I'm like the same personality. And so many people have told me that, like, oh, I would have expected you to be different. And I'm like, I don't know how to be any different than this. Like, this is just who I am. Like, I can't imagine putting on a show that's different from who I am. You know what I mean? My brain would not be able to compute a game like that. And it was like 8 in the morning. So imagine I was like exhausted still, like morning. Had just only brushed my teeth and like washed my face and had a coffee, you know? So Jackbox was a little difficult this morning, but it was fun. It was fun to hang out with people. I thought we were gonna be on a call, so I was also like prepared to like just be social in the morning, but luckily we weren't. And I literally played Pokopia the whole time that we were playing that game. We were playing Jackbox. Love authentic streamers. It's nice to hang out with real people. Yeah, like I think like a lot of times some people think that being on stream like doesn't require you to be yourself, and I just feel like I'm very myself, and I think that's what people are drawn to when they come here is like that I'm real and I'm authentic, and if I'm tired of streaming after 2 hours, I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm done. Like I loved hanging out with y'all, but I'm really tired, and I'm so honest about those things. W Pokowia, how's the construction going? Okay, so after yesterday's stream, I'm not sure like what you caught of the stream yesterday, but it was really just cleanup. We expanded our this morning. We rebuilt the one of our bridges that is now a train station. I think you were here for the train station stuff. So we're building out some train stations and like establishing like actual place like buildings for them. So that's what we're doing. I've learned to cut out folks who are not authentic outside. Yeah, like I feel like if you're not the same way off stream as you are on stream, it's really hard for me to connect with you because I'm like expecting the same person. You know what I mean? Also, Ash, where are you from? Are you from the States? Or are you from Canada? Or you said you were working. So, West Coast? West Coast Canada? West Coast States? West Coast of Mexico? Mexico has a West Coast, right? I think so. The US, unfortunately, Boston. So it's late. Oh my God, you're at work so late. Oh my God, you're like literally, it's not even early anymore. It's literally 9 p.m. almost. Yes. I'm also from the US, so right here with you. We'll stand in solidarity. My best friend's actually moving to Boston this summer, like in July. Oh my God, Jam! Jam for the gift of sub to Ken. You know what, Ken, I hope you enjoy your email or your sub badges and your extra emotes. Yeah, it's late. I work until 11. I'm so sorry. Well, I hope that my stream will probably end by the time you're off work. So hopefully it'll be a nice little thing to have on in the background while to get you through the night. Jam, you're incredible. Like like totally didn't have to like gift a sub or sub at all, and like now Ken, you get to rock your little Pokeball. Isn't it great? Ken, how are you? How was the rest of your stream this morning? Also, if you haven't already, get your daily check-in. Ash or Ken or Jam, if you haven't like gotten them. Wait, Jam got one. I'm like looking at the activity. If you go through your channel points, you can redeem your daily check-in, and it's a counter, so we'll keep track of how many you have. Yes, period. Thank you, thank you, no, thank you, thank you for checking in. But yeah, Momo, that I think that's the next venture in our building of Pokopia is getting those train stations set up. We'll probably do some Pokopia tomorrow if it's a longer stream. Ria, oh my God, thank you for the lurk. Thank you for checking in. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you, friend. I hope everything's okay today and you're having a great Saturday. It was good. I started flopping, so it's time to log off. Well, can you log off for a flop? Log back on for a flop like me. We're about to open lobbies. Um, I think I'm gonna play one more warm up. We didn't make it out, but I think we got the rest of the team out. Like everybody else escaped, and I think it was because of me. Run it back, right? Like the VOD will show that I took so many chases, and I like got them. I ran the time for No Way Out. and then I died. And then I died. It's okay though. We sometimes you can't win them all. We're just gonna jump back in another warm up, and then I'll open up lobbies. I would love to play with you guys. We're listening to R&B because it was literally on my mind. After being in your stream, Momo, but I want to listen to stuff I can sing to. Honestly, you know what came on the other day? Some Usher. So maybe we'll listen to some Usher. We'll do some Usher radio. This is Usher. Usher radio. With Destiny's Child. Let's do it. Guys, it's karaoke night. Let's talk about it. None of this was Usher, by the way. I did Usher radio, and it's giving me like 2000s. Oh my god. We'll start here. Got to lurk, but I want to support. Okay, yeah, no worries. No, I have no problem with you lurking. Thank you so much for being here and checking in, and hopefully you'll be able to come back. No, support. Allie! Allie! Hi, Allie. How are you? How's your Saturday? Welcome in. You're checking for 34? That's crazy. Check in 34 times. You're a real one. You're a real one, to say the least. This song is so good. Yeah, Momo. Literally, after being in a stream, I was like, I have to listen to some R&B. I need to get that itch. I need to scratch that itch. All right, guys. Warm up number 2. I got you. Look, you see? It's Dracula. Oh. I've been waiting. You wanna make a move? Yeah. Hi, Kevin. What's up? How are you? Julian, do I get a prize? 5-stream streak. You get to enter a raffle. Kevin, thank you for coming in. Dude, I added chickens if you can navigate that. If you can navigate channel points. Guys, Kevin is our OG emote designer. He's designed like half of our emotes. And he's honestly my best friend from home. I've known him for like, how long now, Kevin? I've known you since 2010, I would say. No, since before 2010. 2005. 2005, what am I talking about? Like 25 years, 21 years? 21 years? No way. Something like that. It's been a long time. We've been through a lot together. No, it's my gas pump. Sorry, Dwight. No, we are, dude. Oh, I didn't realize this was finished. Don't mind me. I'm going to the next one. I'm an Indian sandwich. Let's just fill this up somewhere then. And I know there's a gen up there, so let's do that. W emotes, honestly, I'm so grateful. Me every time I have a gas tank. I know there's one up here. There's the bat. He's going back to hook, like a freak. Oh, the canisters here. I think it's gonna despawn. Wait, what? Kevin, no way! With the 5 gifted. Oh, they picked it up. Thank you for the gifted to all those friends. I only know Ash and Mallory. Avery Balls, that's crazy. Oh, what the hell is happening? Why does he have all those fireworks around him? You gifted, guys. That's my best friend. Like, no, for real. We've known each other for so long. I miss you so much. Thank you so much, dude. Here, let me heal you right here. Why is she on death hook? Guys, we just got these gen guns here. Love you, dude. Miss you too. I love you so much. Like, literally. And I can't wait till we get to hang out again. And I'm glad you're here. Hopefully, you get to hang out a little bit. It gets really fucking crazy in here. Hype train? Yeah, we got a hype train. Oh my god! Ali! Gifting his stuff to Kevin! You're incredible! An icon, honestly, truly. Oh, he don't want us to finish that. Tunneling her? Am I about to save her? Am I about to save her? I'm about to save her. I'm about to save her. Monkey trash, I'm saving you. I'm saving you. Girly, girly. Don't stand. Go, 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 go. Get out of the way. Okay, not tunneling. He's coming after me. Big whiff. Can I get a whiff in chat? Ay, puta. Ay, aquí viene. Ay. Oh my god, I was literally running and so how does this game work? TLDR. Okay, TLDR. You can either queue in as a squad of survivors who have to complete generators, like an escape, complete generators to get out, or you queue in solo as the killer and you try to stop the survivors from escaping, right? So that's it. That's how the game works. There are perks. There's like a perk web, like a skill web, or a skill tree for every character that you can play as. And there are some licensed characters. Every character has their own unique perks, whatever, you know. And depending on what characters you play, you unlock more perks that can be used universally. Was that short enough, Momo? Like all the people in chat, was that a good enough explanation that was like, TLDR, this is like pretty much what you need to know about it. Oh, heal me. Yes, yeah. So Dracula's a unique one? Yeah, Dracula's like one of like 60 killers. Momo fact check. I feel like Momo has all the DVD answers. Sounded good to me, period. Oh, he wants me. Try again, Dracula. I'm over here. Half naked over here. Why do you leave him slugs? Not too much on me now. I don't know if I really do. I feel like you have a lot of DBD knowledge, for sure. Yeah, but Dracula is one of many killers that you can play as. Some licensed killers in game are like Ghostface from Scream, Michael Myers.
Don't be overdramatic.
Haha, tricked you. Haha, tricked you again. Come back, please. Don't kill my friend Hattie. Come. Let's go. You will never get this. You will never get this. La 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 la. Ooh, can I get a whiff on Dracula? Come. Oh, he hit me that time. GG. I didn't mean it. He went back to the generator. No, I'm over here, girl. I'm going this way, girl. He's gonna camp this gen. They got Jeepers as next. Nice. They got Jeepers Creepers. I don't think they have Jeepers Creepers. I could be wrong. I don't think so. But they have the killer. Oh no! Ah, ah. Rat got me again. That's what I get for being confident. GG's. Thank you so much for all the gifted. That was awesome. That was so much fun, and everybody enjoyed doing sub badges. What are they have Michael Myers. They have like Freddy Krueger. Chucky is another killer. I like this one. Yeah, my other friend Skya designed that one. Kevin, I love that one. No, and we won't ever get it. No, we're never gonna get Jeepers Creepers. Why? Wait, explain. Ash, do you know the reason? Am I gonna be a sacrifice? I think so, y'all. I think I'm a sacrifice. The way he came back to my hook is insanity. Big whiff. Yeah, H3 had no hooks. That's interesting. There's controversy with it? I didn't know that at all. I think Ash, how valid is the rumor that Jason Voorhees is coming? I think it's a zip for me. Hattie, please, why are you here? Hattie, please! At least take a hit for me, friend! He left me. No, he's still after me. Guys, please finish the generator. I can only run for so much longer. Getting 100. No, Chucky is hilarious. Like, so many matches where I laugh at the killer. The killers are funny. Like, they're so funny. I'm gonna do this. Looking at a list. Yeah, Chucky is the killer in the game. Yeah. I think it would have been back in January. I was shocked that they did Stranger Things again when we all expected Jason. Oh, I heard that was running. Yeah, people were. Yeah. There was a hype train. Chat was running a train on me. You missed out. Next time. Okay, good job, H3. I'm gonna just stop this in case. But I think what I'm gonna do is heal first. Oh, that gen like finished. Oh. Heal me. Please. Now you loving trains, you host. Do I No, Ed? Friends. You can't be serious. He's gonna come right back here. Hold on, just wait. He's coming right back here. Yeah, Hattie. No! H3, I got you. Well, GG's. They have Pinhead, Candyman, Pennywise. I think they do have Pinhead. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they definitely have. Watch, why are you listening to me? You're so annoying. I'm gonna take my watch off. Oh, GG's. GG's. We almost made it. They do have Pinhead, but they took him away. Oh. Oh, like you can't get him again, but they have Pinhead in game, yeah. Like they didn't pay for the license anymore. Same thing with Michael Myers. Like Michael Myers is in game, but you can't buy him right now. They'll probably bring him back. I'm sure they'll just make it like one of those things that come like once or twice a year. You know, it'd be weird not to. Yeah, there's Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, like the different collabs we have. Ooh. Julian with the check-in. There you go. There you go. That's the second raffle ticket. Okay, guys, lobbies are open for anybody who wants to play. Exclamation point DVD to add me. So if you bought them before the license expires, you keep them. Yeah. So like I have Michael Myers still. I have Myers. Oh, these are survivors, but like there's also The Walking Dead, Kevin. I know you know The Walking Dead. Like Michonne, Rick, Daryl, they're in game. Stranger Things is in game. Nicolas Cage is a survivor you can play. Like it's just fun. It's just silly goofy. Resident Evil, yeah, like a few collaborations. Oh, Thaw is another like collab that they had. Yeah. For anybody who wants to play, open lobbies. Here, I'm gonna take this out. Open lobbies. 2 matches per lobby or per squad. I'm gonna pin this. Sam and Dean would be great. So yes. Okay, so that's another like fan request. Yeah, another fan request is Supernatural. Like people were literally. Yeah, I think I was in a chat with you, Ash, where we were talking about that. Supernatural would be a fun collab. All right, open lobbies if anybody wants to join. Otherwise, I'll run solos, but the lobbies are open for those who want to play. If anybody wants to play with me, I would love to play with y'all. But I think Supernatural would be a lot of fun. Scooby-Doo is like a funny one that people say, but I honestly don't think it would really work. I think maybe some cosmetics would be fun. Like if you got Scooby-Doo cosmetic, that would be fun. What else? What's another good like franchise? I mean, I think Jason Voorhees would be fun. They would just have to do it really well. This new killer that's coming out, this centaur Pegasus lady, that looks crazy. Like I've seen some videos of that. I'm not excited. I mean, I am excited, but that's gonna be tough to play against. Like for real. Imagine Twilight. Twilight would be hilarious. Another thing they do, Kevin, too, is that they'll give like a licensed skin to like an original character. You know? They've done that too. Twilight would be hilarious. I need a sparkly Edward. Yeah. That would be hilarious. And his perk is something that blinds the killer. Wouldn't that be funny? If anyone wants to play, I'm gonna ready up for the next match. The lobbies are open. Just let me know if you want to join. run me deep in the right direction. Ooh. This song is also so good. Baby boy, when you lose my breath, when you lose my breath. This song is so good. Like I don't want this era of music though, because it's playing like all kinds of music. I might just have to switch it. I think I'm gonna do my old faithful, which is Slater. Which Kevin, I wanted to add some of this music to your that running playlist you sent me. I don't know if you still use that. It's my name on that bag. Standing in the front yard, telling me how I'm such a fool. I can't listen to this. I'm sorry. It's just that's not the vibe I'm feeling right now. Like playing DVD. No, I stopped listening to music while running. More in the zone somehow. I mean, there's probably something about figuring out dinner, so lurking for a bit. No, go get your food. Hey, go eat. We'll be here. I feel like running without music, you're probably like so aware of like your pathing and how fast you're going and your breaths too. Music was only really helpful like when I was running as an amateur, and so I feel like now that you're out of the rapper. Oh, it's this nasty vomit bitch. Oh. Try again. Back to my Jen. I hate her. She's so nasty. So nasty and so rude. So nasty and so rude. Ash, that's one of so I have tons of funny like vocal stem channel point redeems for sound alerts. And I need to add that in the week's one. What's with it showing the heart sometimes? Is that to indicate yeah, so your heart will indicate so killers have a radius of terror. And your heart starts to beat as the killer approaches you or you enter that radius. So right now, like I'm in her radius. If she's right there. There you go. I love that quote, and I feel like no one knows where it's from. Oh, I quote that. I've been quoting that often. You know, somebody asked about vocal stems recently. And I go, so nasty and so rude so often. And then I go, why refrigerator? I wonder if she saw me. The ghetto! We in the ghetto! What does she say? She's like, let me go put my shoes on so we can find you a house. Yes! It's so fucked. Is she there? Michaela, do it. Oh, what you started Nini's iconic. And she's coming back! Oh, she saw me. She's coming back to, Real Housewives. Oh. You don't know where I'm at? Go that way. Tab had a hard day with some sad news. Oh no. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, Dives. Damn, girl. Just throwing up on bitches. Like, the fuck? Keep it in your fucking mouth. Love you too, Dives. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. True Blood back in the day? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit of True Blood. That vampire show, right? That was on HBO? Was it on Showtime? Something like that. But yes. I've been getting back into the cities that have new episodes, but nothing compares to OG. Oh, Potomac? I've seen some clips of Potomac, and that shit is wild, too. That shit is... Nom, 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 nom. Just... finger licking good. Finger licking good. Oh, I forgot I had that whole playlist queued, by the way. I just finished it for the first time, yeah, HBO. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the show? It's apparently like very good. From what I've seen, it's really good too. Come here, Laura. Come here. Oh, Lara Croft is in the game. In this game as well. Please. Oh, you can't heal me. You can't heal me. I'm sorry. Oh, I can heal you. Here, let me heal you. You want me to heal you? Okay. I guess not. Homeboy's on death hook. Start strong and then just implode like GOT. First 4 seasons are good and then it's like, no way! Is it like something with production? I feel like Game of Thrones, and same thing with Stranger Things, I fear, like, they just rushed production at the end and like didn't really think it out. Like, I hope that was worth it. No, Quentin's about to fucking die. Oh, Quentin, I'm sorry. GG's, Quentin. Oh my god. But yeah, but like GOT, they diverged from the source material way too much, and you can tell by the quality of the plot. Yeah, yeah. I think, and then obviously with Game of Thrones, they like relied so heavily on that written content that deviating made it worse. You know what I mean? Like, I think like The Last of Us did a good job of like using the source material and then altering it to be a TV show. You know what I mean? I think that that's like a very successful translation of text, or like of like other media, you know. Okay, Jen's done. Quentin said, I don't know what Jen Michaela's working on. Quentin, your death will not go in vain, friend. We will survive. Kinda hate you, but oh, she's right there. I knew she was. Okay. Michaela, if you can take chase, I can go get the heal. Oh, it's over here. No, Michaela, why'd you come back this way? No, Michaela! Michaela, why'd you go back to the gen, you silly goose? That's how I feel. Every time that happens. Every time. Ayla, you should have just taken the chase like a real one. I don't think I get saved. I think Laura's gonna do what she gotta do. Puts her down. Slugs, by the way. Yeah, where are you going, girl? There's no one over here to save me. You just risked the wiggle. She's slugging, so she needs to come get me first. Low key. Laura needs to heal me first. Why are you slugging? That's so fucked. Come on, no way we're slugging. Let us get up, please. Okay, Luna. Yeah, well, I guess her name is Luna. Luna's healed. Look at her, coming back to me. No one's coming to save me, girl. And you just lost your body. Let's see, let's see. I don't want her to save me, like, it's not worth it. I don't think she should pick up either. I don't think she should have picked up. I think she should have finished the gen. And let the body stay on the ground. That's what I think she should have done. We do have open lobbies. Anybody lurking? Anybody couldn't hear me? Anybody wants to play? Lobbies are open. Damn. I don't understand. On it. I love this song so much. On pain and swagger, I bleed. I want sex, money, bitches, and a seed. I want a cigarette. Oh, this song is so good. I would love to see Slater in concert. Like, see one of her shows. Now that's a show I want to see. Beat up Chanel's. Ba ba da ba da. Oh, the new map. It feels like. Oh, ew! It's unknown. Cannibalism. Oh, God, I'm not giving. And oh, and none I heard. Oh, where's there again? Oh. Do or die. Oh. All right, all right. Will we make it out alive in one piece? Hey Monte, hey Justin, hey Monte. Monte, do you want to play with me? My lobbies are open. There's a spot that says Monte Noir on it. Didn't you see? I'm serious about it. Ew, is that a rat? Ew. How was your day? My day was DVD. Yeah, DVD is correct. My day was really good. It was really nice out today. Did groceries. I got 2 plants today, by the way. And I had a little margarita for dinner, or not for dinner, but with dinner. And yeah, I watched the first episode of The Boys. Overall, pretty good day. How was your day? What kind of plant? Today I bought an alocasia plant. Because the plant store, this boutique plant store, you know, granted, I think I overpaid for the plant, but the boutique plant store was doing like a giveaway of sorts. So for every purchase, you can get a. Ew! Ew! Why is there some dumb unknown bitch in the detective outfit? Like, why you always got conscience tape? Also, how are we at Death Hook already? Just SOL over there, by the way. Ooh, The Boys! Yeah, the first episode was kind of crazy. But would I be lying if I said I didn't see it happening? Yeah, because I definitely saw that shit happen. Nice. Good hit. Good to take that chase. I'm gonna leave. A-Train death was sad. Okay, well, spoilers. I wasn't trying to say anything. But I definitely saw that coming. That's what I definitely saw that coming in this episode, especially when they brought him back, because I fully thought he was gone. But the minute he showed up, I was like, oh, they're wrapping a bow on this bitch. Damn, spoiler alert. I know, Kevin. Allocations are pretty. They are. I am nervous though, because oh my bad. Kevin's new here. Kevin's new here. I mean, he's not really new here, but Kevin just thinks he's talking to me, you know? He knows I don't care. Yeah, the allocations are really hard to take care of, in my opinion. Let's see if I can add more to this gen over here, or is he camping it? Is he really on that generator? I guess I'm on it. Yeah, my plant shelf, like I have a lot of plants. I think I have like 30 plants, maybe 20 plants. I had at one point 50 plants, but the winter was not kind to a lot of my plants. I had to throw so many plants away. They did not make it. I saw bones here, which is really, there you go. That's what Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't want to die again. This guy was quiet. He's in the marketplace. The body there. I think I'm gonna heal. Ash, plant tour, please, and thank you. You should see my plants. Wait, Monte, can I see your plants? I'll send you a pic on Instagram of mine. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I love plants. I have 5 dead succulents. How do you kill succulents, bro? Apparently they're low maintenance, but my maintenance is non-existent. You don't know what maintenance means, apparently. Low maintenance, you like water them once a month. You're supposed to water them once a month. I have 5 dead succulents, friend. I have a lot. Wait, Monte, I want to see. This is what we want to see. Put your mouth. Close your mouth. Oh my god. Come on, TP. TP won't. TP won't. Water them when I remember they exist. Kevin, that's like precisely the point. You're supposed to know they exist. What the fuck is that? This guy is ugly as hell. I hate this guy. Well, he's called the Unknown, and his ass is on his stomach. Damn. Low-key, I want him to kill him. I low-key want to die. Guys, there were boxes. What happened to the boxes? Why didn't he hit the boxes? Why didn't he hit the boxes, guys? Guys, there were boxes right there. There were boxes right there. How did he hit me over the boxes? We're okay. Was that Gerald? Oh, Geralt? Oh, Geralt's in this game. Geralt is also, bro. You shouldn't be safe. yeah. He needed to be safe. Felix is his name. I know. I never remember Felix's name. I always confuse him for Ash. But yeah, Gerald's in it. Geralt. I don't know how to say his name. Monte, do you want to play with me? Come play. Our lobbies are open. Today is for you guys. When is it? When is in DVD for y'all? I mean, okay. Period. Would be killing the killers. You know, I really need them to add like guns and shit to this game because that would be hilarious. I want a knife. I want a knife, and I want when that killer tunnels me to be able to use that knife for the powers of good. Monte, they're beautiful. Holy shit. Wait, Monte. This first one that you're sending me, that one, literally, I had one of those and it didn't survive. It was not that big. Yours is huge. Oh, what a cute little. Oh, that one's so pretty. Okay, I also had a paradise palm or a what is it? Birds of paradise. Monte. Dick Slinger got a gun, so we should be able to fight. Yeah, if the Dick Slinger has a gun, I want one. If I had my PS5, I'd join. You gave it to Tommy for now. Might take it back for GTA 6. Oh yeah, cop that shit. You gotta take it back. Ooh, that one's pretty too. Is that a money tree? Oh my god, you have such great plants. Those my babies. Dude, I feel that same way about my plants. Like my plants are like my children, literally. I feel like taking care of them really makes me feel good. You have names for them? I tried to name my plants, but they just don't stick. So I'm just like, plant one, plant two, plant three. Firmly grasp it! Oh my god, dude. That guy's name. So firmly grasp it. And name my favorite plants or plants that are given to me. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. There's a plant that was given to me that I named Mellow. Going to bed, but it was so fun seeing your stream. Love you. I love you so much, Kevin. Sleep well, bro. Enjoy your run tomorrow. I saw that you're getting back into running after I guess you were injured or like needing a break. So like needing to rest your body. But yeah, I hope we get to talk more soon. And obviously, like you'll get some reels. Have a good night, bro. PC? We can if you'd like. No one's actually, yeah, no one's really asking to play. So yeah, I'll join the VC for now. Hello.
Hey Justin,
Hi.
how art thou?
You know, I haven't gotten out yet. It's a nemesis. Crashing out.
Don't worry, Papa's here. This Ace has a Twitch shirt on.
Oh, I love the name. I wonder who they are. Methany over here.
Oh.
But she doesn't see me. She just walked right away from me. Good. Pretend I'm not here.
Methany is crazy.
Methany.
Uh,
It's so good. I heard somebody call them that, and I was like, I have to use it now. Oh, I don't have an item. What's up there? What was the slug? Why the slug? Oh, because Ace was there. Okay, Wigglyff. Alright, well, at least this gen's done.
Damn, these zombies are trying to jump me.
Okay, they finally got the pick.
Oh, the stupid fucking zombie. These zombies, they're like two over here. For some reason, he's undetectable. I don't know why.
No, he's on me. Yeah, you missed, you big bitch. No. Yeah, ho. Yeah, Glow. Oh, he's going back to Hook. Okay. He doesn't want to play. He went back to the Hook. Oh. That's not. Get your greasy, crusty claws off my generator. Get off of it. Get off. There you go. Alright. Should I heal you?
Yes, please.
Let me just rub your back. Give you a massage.
Ooh.
Oh,
Rough.
he didn't see us. He didn't see us.
My back was being
Oh, here he
rubbed on
comes. Oh, he didn't see it.
sandpaper.
Oh, that's not what I thought I lotioned those today. Methany, get your greasy hands off me. Hi, Peter. Welcome in. Peter, we're doing open lobbies if you want to join for a little bit. No rotation right now. Monte's in here for a little bit. We're gonna just keep people in here until more people request in, you know? Hi, Peter. How are you? Damn, you got 2 girlfriends? That's crazy. Hey, yo, Twitch shirt. Come here. Oh, damn.
I need somebody to kill these zombies if it's a new one.
Here, I'll take this one. This way. Come this way. You'll never get this. You'll never get this.
They're both coming for you. Look at them.
Look
They're
at
a
them.
couple.
Oh, they want this ass. They want this ass. Come on, guys. I have meth. I have drugs. Come on. Yes, good druggies. Come on. Come on. I'm doing good. I'm glad you're doing well, Peter. No. Methany, this way. Methany, this way. Oh, he's on you. I'm gonna go back to the gym, I guess.
Honeybee.
Peter, how was your Saturday? What were you up to today? Also, thank you for checking in. 12 times is crazy. Every time I see that people checked in more than twice, I'm like, that's insane. Okay. Clearly they want me. Oh, here he comes, too. Nemesis just hit the gen.
It's a party. It's a party.
I'm back at the gen that he broke. Mostly chilled, play guitar. DVD earlier. Ooh, did Phasmo, now onto Warframe. Damn, Peter, you just have a Rolodex. You just like, and now this game is done, and now this game. And now I'm done with this, so now I'm gonna play this game. I love that. I love that you have a schedule. Also, I've seen you play Warframe. Is that game like a lot of fun? I don't really understand it. Warframe mentioned? Yes, Ash. Oh my god. I got scared. I saw the
I used to love Warframe.
It looks like a lot of fun, and I love the animation of it. I have ADHD. Oh, that does it. That'll do it. That'll do it. Warframe best game? Oh, okay, Ash. You're gonna have to put me on. Okay, you guys have to teach me.
I don't know. It's been like 5 years.
Come on, Nemi. Nemi baby. Nemi baby. Punch me,
Alright,
bitch.
that's over there.
I'm in main, like an idiot. Oh, he left me. Freak. Went to whoever was up on that hill. Warframe is a convoluted story that takes hours to explain. It has an amazing community and then a crazy grind if you can accomplish it. There's like a free grind.
Where is
I don't know
he?
where this he was near Maine. He's in Maine. He's on top of Maine. No, please, zombie, like, get off my ass.
Oh, can you finish telling me real quick?
Yeah, I'll rub you,
Oh,
No!
shit!
Why are they both over here?
God, they're a couple, I tell you.
Fucking Methany and her man. You fiends, get off of us.
They can't get in now.
It's almost done. Finally, Jesus. It took me so long to do that. We need to help this. Here, let me heal you. Can I finish healing?
Oh, yeah. That's coming. Woo!
That resilience heal.
Bro, why is he so fast?
Where's this body knocked? Oh, over there. Are you gonna try to get the save?
Yeah.
Oh, he's up. He's up.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna do another gen, I guess. If I can find one. Oh, I know. But in essence, it's RPG shooter in third person that is also a space shooter, ship pilot, fantasy zone with hack and slash, docration? What's docration? That's a big word for Elmo. Dude, this fucking dude just came over here and smacked me.
He said,
He said, here's some drugs. No, please. Let me put a little bit in here. Sorry, Claudette. Oh my god. I need to find Bones. Oh wait, Ace. Ace is getting chased. Okay, good job, Ace. I'm gonna go for the save. I'm near.
Okay. I was gonna say, what save?
Oh yeah. The eventual save that will have to happen. Hi, Ace. He's on my chest. I'll take this down for Ace. Come on. It's fine, Ace. Good job. Oh, of course the zombie's after him. No, Ace, please, it's not worth it. Just go. Go heal. Go get the vaccine. No, Ace, it really isn't that deep. Ace. God, why is it? Ace, you don't have to do this. Yeah, just do Gen. Just do the Gen.
Next to the Ace and blocked.
Oh.
Oh.
What gen are you in? I'm gonna follow you. Let's just go to the gen. Oh, back here?
Yum.
Come here. You see any bones? Just 99 me,
yes.
so we can just... Oh.
Oh shit, he's over here.
Ooh! I have to leave. I'm going back to the generator.
Okay.
Just FYI. Okay,
Oh my God, I haven't been hooked.
Okay.
I just realized.
I know, yeah. I was like, I feel good about this. If you still have no hooks. Giggle. Oh no, good try. I think I finished the gen though. Is Ace near you?
No. Ace is in the man.
Okay,
but he's going straight to you, so commit.
Yeah, I'm done. Leaving. Oh, I found Bones. Oh, he's undetectable. Oh my god, around generators. Wait. He's undetectable around completed generators. Okay. Is there a pallet here? Yes, there is. I'm here, miss you. Damn, good try, Justin. Good try. I wasn't a lot back then. Gameplay was very limited. Oh. To show, which I like showing off sometimes. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Okay, that hurts. Oh, stabbed myself because I pressed the wrong button. I opened my menu. No, not after the ace. Not after the ace. Let the ace live. No, I'm at Shack, but I'm gonna die. No. Resilience, by the way. No. Ace, please, it's not serious. You god! Oh my god, you god. You went after Ace?
The door's to your right.
Okay, yeah.
Come on, mama. Straight.
Oh, I see it. For reference, Excalibur Prime. Nice, Monte. I'm at door.
I'm coming.
Go, go, go. Not dead hard. Oh my god, that's so hot, sexy. Hot, sexy, hot, sexy. Shout out to the dead hard.
Hey.
Woo! We got out! GG's to that ace. GG's to you too, Monte. Couldn't do it without you.
Yay, we did it.
All
We
in a
did
day's
it.
work. See, I just needed Monte on my team to get us out.
Exactly.
Monte knows too. Monte's like, yeah, I know. I've been waiting to get in there. I've been seeing you struggle. Let me dump these points into Arilla. If anybody else wants to join, there's two spots. Two spots. Anybody. We don't bite. Not hard anyway.
I might nibble.
My nipple, you know, just a cute little nom nom. You know what I mean? Oh, P92! So close! We're so close, Miss Arilla. Dance her for a little bit.
These names are wild.
Bart Wahlberg, excuse me? Ada Wong? I'm just kidding. I've seen salty Reddit posts about this. Valor Prime is only for founders that paid into the game back in 2015. Oh, that's how old this game is? It can no longer be obtained. Oh, so it's like really exclusive. To rest. It's 13 years old. That is an old. That's an old game. No idea it was that old. Whew, excuse me. Big yawn. Oh, a spring trap.
I have no interest in dying today.
Oh, I haven't played this map in a minute. Yeah, I've been speedrunning all that content in like 3 months. Oh, wow.
Ooh, I am scared. Oh, I see him.
Oh, you do? Is he outside? Is he in main? Be honest.
He's outside of me, yeah. I think he sees me.
Oh, I hear him. I hear his big clanking ass feet. It's a lot to get through. It's nice that they made some of it easier to component cost and such. Okay, nice. But I do have somewhat of a life. As you're like, he's on me. Or is he down? No, he's upstairs. Oh! Oh, hell no! No! He literally stabbed my toe. He stabbed my toe. He stabbed my toe.
so quiet and skinny. Ooh, no.
Oh.
Stay
Guys,
right
bring
there,
back-
grass.
Bring back the needle.
right
Bring
there.
back the needle to heal me. I miss my needle. Oh my god, Monte, hot sexy. Run!
What is that noise?
That's what the sound you made was. Oh, he wants my ass. I survived that. I didn't survive that. I didn't throw it. Oh, he's scared. Oh, you got him panicking. You got him shook, panicking. Oh my god, that's crazy. That is crazy. He really looked around. That was crazy. I've never seen a Springtrap look around so much. Big love to Muscle Mommy. We love a Muscle Mommy.
Oh, Demon, come to me.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't want to smoke.
oh, he just.
Guess I'm off the hook.
Oh, he's just gonna tunnel me. He's tunneling me, but oh no, he went for Ada. Thank God.
That boon is exponential travel stat. And Dark Theory. Oh wow. So if you go
I don't know
down,
what
go
that
down,
means.
you're main.
Yeah, I see it. The boon.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I do with the boon now? It's right here.
No, I'm saying like if you go down near it.
Oh, go down over here. Yeah, it's like for cover.
Ooh.
Thank you, Dwight. Oh, the gas tanks aren't over. Gas tanks are all on that side too. Okay, top. Okay, main gen is done. Oh damn.
Only 2 gens done. My time.
Of course, Springtrap's on me, by the way. We're all on this side too. Dude. Forgot I don't have a life on her. Is no one really gonna save you? Like, Beta, please be serious.
Oh, she got me. She got me.
Ay puta! Dude, he just mind games me better. I just can't see him. I just can't see his fucking red flashlight. I can't see him. I'm working on getting her now, but I need those toroids. Oh, Speaking in tongues now, huh, Ash? I'm just kidding. I use Valk and Rev second a lot. Take but I can't. I tend to try. Oh, are they called frames? Wow, war frame. Oh, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, of course. He's gonna come right back over here, I think. Just like I thought. Trash. He's in a tunnel me, GG. Tunneling me is insane. GG, guys. No, no.
Are you kidding me?
No. GG's. You guys get out. You guys get out. Just vote.
These randoms are not
He
gonna
didn't want me
leave
to
me, right?
leave. I hope not. We worked so hard on that.
Ada, get your ass down here, bitch. I fucking saved your life. And both of you have no hooks. That's crazy.
Like, the way he's camping you is insane. Like, he has no hooks. Like, he can literally afford it.
Nah, I didn't say I was gonna save him, so.
Monte! Not Fart Wahlberg. Good try. You are so funny. Well, I just wanted to know if they were gonna save me and not the other way around. My bestie will call them skins. Like, babe, this isn't Fortnite. Yes, they're frames. True, and that's also getting an age for. Okay. Yeah, they're frames. They're not skins. Those are people. They're frames. They're more than skins. I mean, they aren't far off from skin, but they're frames, Peter. But they're frames.
That's a curvy frame. Damn, that was fast.
Hmm?
Gotta match so fast.
I know. It's like waiting for me to have a person in my match. I suppose clone biomechanoid weapon doesn't flow off the tongue. Yeah, that's why they're called frames. I do call them mechs for people who may understand that better. Oh. Oh. So they're robots. I think that's correct. Why are you laughing?
Let's have jokes that happen in my head. But I'm like, I shouldn't say that.
No, you
I
always have to
shouldn't
say
say
every
that.
joke. I like to laugh. Tell all the jokes. Hot robots. Who said that? Hot robot. They're hot.
Are they robots? I thought they were people in suits.
Apparently, they're mechanoids.
Mechanoids.
Hot robots. We need proof.
Okay, let's try to stick together.
Claudette, you look like she looks like she works at like a plant store or like she's about to dig up some vegetables.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
Vecna, by the
Have you
way.
ever had a crispy crane?
The lich.
Have you ever gone to Krispy Kreme? Oh! Was it crispy? Right.
Oh, he just is flying immediately.
He said I want you bad.
Claudette, I'm taking him to you, friend. This guy's ugly. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for the refresh. I hope you're feeling okay. With the check-in, too. Oh, my God. Micah with the check-in. Hi. Hi, Micah. How are you? How are you? How are you? Suitable sacrifice. I'm alright. How was your week? How was your day? Did you have work today? How goes the games? Games are fun. I'm having a good time despite literally dying every match except for one. I did. Oh, I have work tomorrow. It's gonna be a time.
Ooh, wee.
The week has been great. Oh, that's awesome to hear. Oh, that's incredible to hear.
Guess I'm off the hook.
Live, laugh, love. A good week. Great week, even. So the blood gen naturally. Gonna go get that save. The new guy in game? The new guy? Like the new survivor? Tae Young? Oh, Mr. Tae Young. You're talking about Tae Young. We love Tay Tay. Alright, well, go back to that first jump. Okay. Oh, not him flying across the map like a freak. Tinkerbell over here.
He was a fairy.
No, quite literally. Yeah, yeah. Come and get me.
Hey, but a baddie.
When a baddie, when a shaman. Try again, mister. He doesn't fall for fakes. No. He just commits to the chase. Wow, wow. Wow. Oh. You had a really nice killer 2 games ago. Okay, Micah, I'm not gonna lie. You always think the killer's nice, like, even when they're not. So, I tend not to believe you. We love to see it. So, who was the killer? What was their name? And how did you know they were nice? How were you convinced they were nice? Let's talk about it. It was the old Vecna? Oh, just like the Vecna I'm playing against now. Interesting. You see how this guy's not being very nice? A nice Vecna? Yeah, I think Micah's perfect. I stopped working on my gens so he could break it. That means you were being nice, not him. Darlene with the check-in! Hi Darlene, welcome in! We're doing open lobbies also, Micah. Like, you guys want to play? We have 2 spots open. Right now, it's just me and Monte against the world, to be honest. Donkey, donkey. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you.
I won't.
We have no gens done, by the way. Did he really leave you? Micah's Momo's back. Momo, what'd you end up getting for dinner? I have witnesses. Oh, you have witnesses. Also, hi, Darlene. Yeah. Oop, game is starting. Okay, good luck. Good luck in the fog. Darlene, how are you? Darlene, we're doing open lobbies today. If you want to play. You better work, bitch. Crispy chicken poutine. Mmm, that sounds good. That is very Canadian of you. Even though I didn't know poutine could add protein to poutine. Maybe I just thought cheese only. Oh, Momo. Oh, Momo. I need that poutine, please. He's just saving all. Like, I guess I'm just gonna die. We don't. I think I'm just gonna die. Like. Big whiff. Can I get a whiff on Vecna? No! Oh, Monty, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you were there. Dude, this bitch flies. This bitch is in the sky. Oh my god, Monte. I'm in the basement. You. That's not what I meant to do. No, he sees me. Guys, it's a wrap on Justin. Ryan, I missed you. I thought you would be able to play today. I hope you can. I hope I'm still alive by the time you get home. The kid, dude, that took me out. I cannot. That was so funny. That has never happened to me before. All right, guys, we're gonna watch Monte. Like, he doesn't even know what to do. Nice. Oh my god, Monte. Nice. Oh, no! That was crazy. I'm not gonna. Poutine's customizable for sure. Ooh, yeah. I've only seen it with like just gravy. Ryan, how's time with the fam? How's dinner? Oh, I have to type to you. Oh my god, hitting Monte is so rude. It's so nasty and so rude. Okay, Monte. Maybe they can get the gen done while you're hanging. Justin, you're so cute. Stop! You're making me blush. You're making me blush. for typing that out. I know. W Momo. W Momo. W Momito. Darlene, how was your Saturday? Wait, let me scroll up. Let me catch up with chat. Reconviction. How matches been? Matches have been fun, Darlene. We have had quite the time with killers. I've literally only escaped once. Yeah, but I think they get out again this match. Monte got out last match. I think Monte's gonna get out again. And like I said, lobbies are open. We have 2 spots right now. We're not really doing any. That totally didn't happen. What do you mean, Monte got a 1? What do you mean? Totally didn't happen. Watching my sister wax her wife's eyebrows. And dinner was good too. Oh, that's quite the activity. What do you guys have for dinner?
I've been muted this whole freaking time.
Oh. Okay, just say you hate me.
I'm so sorry.
Damn. Okay, not a 1, not a 1. That's good.
I was waiting for them to finish this last gen. Like...
What did you have dinner, guys? What did you have dinner? I can't type. Don't mind me. Period. Post dinner show. Manifesting her eyebrows on fleek. Eyebrows on fleek. The fuck. Let's see. Claudette got knocked. And other Claudette is doing the one in the back. Yeah, I should just. Yeah, you guys are right next to each other. And Vecna is headed to her. I guess you can see.
Oh.
That's not.
Oh.
Oh, technology.
It's alright, mama. I got you. I'm coming, sister.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. Guess we're going to the other door.
Oh, he saw you too. Justin, what's your code? Oh, here. Are you gonna come join Charlene? I mean, I would love to play with you. Star! Oh my god, Star! Are you back home yet? Or are you still on your work trip?
This bitch is yelling.
W, Darlene. Darlene, I would love to play.
A freaking door. Like, do the door.
Oh!
What is she doing?
What is she doing? Nice. Okay, she's on the door. Yeah, there you go. That's what you needed. Okay. Star, almost home. Oh my god, how much time do you have left to your home? How was your week? How was your work trip? Get home safely. Yeah, I hope your work trip went well. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you can join in. We're playing for like another hour. Yay, Darlene. That means so much to me. Look at that. I would love to get some gameplay. We love Star. The magnificent, incredible stargazer. Star, you didn't do your sound alert. I have 10 minutes left. So close. So close, you'll make it in time for lobbies.
Uh,
That's only if you want to, though. I know I can understand if you're tired.
oh.
Oh. You want to talk about mother?
What's she doing now?
She's doing the other door. Not the one by Shaq. She's doing the one on the other side. Now she's healing. She 99'd it, by the way. Oh.
Wait,
She's
where
here.
is it?
Yep, right there. It's 99. Like, Claudette, please. Hit the door! God damn, Florist Claudette. Like, go cut some flowers. Nice.
Wait, because that's why I feel like she was trying to sandbag me.
Like, why were you sandbagging? Like, what's wrong with you? Claudette, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it real quick. What you trying to do, Casper? Huh? I wish people would stop 99. Yeah, like, even if it's NOED, even if it's fucking, like, whatever it is, you can get through it. You know what I mean? You know I can make it through. Whatever it takes. Typical Claude. Let's get Darlene in here. Let's get a full... Is that the Darlene? I know Wolfie said he would come. Oh. Darlene, if you're not in my Discord, we're also in my VC if you do want to do comms. Totally okay if you just want to use chat. The streamer, yeah, let me in. There's totally room. Come play, Momito. Come play. We'll have a full lobby. That's what this is for. This is what we want to see. Hella cuties in this lobby. Only cuties in this lobby. That's on period.
Me? No.
Say me? A cute? It's about to carry. I know that's right. Yeah, if you guys want to get into the VC, totally fine. The VC is always open on stream. Get some silly goofy times in here. And honestly, we can stay with this lobby until somebody else requests to come in. And we'll rotate people out. Oh, baby, not too much. No, Momo, you've been playing all day. I thought you were warmed up. I thought Momo was gonna carry. I'm gonna put lights on because obviously I can't play without it. Oh, I passed it. Nah, all my loops have been looped. Now I'm gonna just be a gem princess. Okay, period. We love gem princess. If you need anything, I'll be at your every beck and call. Just you need water, you need snacks, you need a drink. We try our best. Okay, you know, and being a gem princess might be your best tonight. It's fine. It's fine.
Me,
There you go, Star.
Jessica. I'm in here.
That is so good. I almost forgot my walk on. Yeah, you forgot your Discord music. You forgot your entrance music.
Yup.
Yo, I literally could recite all of these. I can't. I
Have you
almost
ever had a
didn't know
Krispy
who
Kreme?
you were until now.
Have you ever gone to Krispy Kreme? Was it crispy?
Momo, you're so silly.
Right.
I almost didn't know it's you until your sound blur. Oh my god, you look so different. Star. Debbie Ryan. I walked up to the offices of Disney.
And guess who's jealous
Another
of Adele?
Vecna. Beyonce.
Beyonce.
It's another Vecna.
Oh, it's probably the same one, honestly. On ass.
Exactly, Ash. Exactly.
I'm gonna that hand.
My sentiments exactly. Oh my god, Momo, please.
Damn, where is everybody?
I actually don't really know how to describe where I am. I'm by a door. By a door. Okay. Like at spawn, to be honest. I don't know where you spawned, but I think you did spawn with us. So about carrying, more like he's carrying you to the hook. Or
I
like
would
you're getting
say-
carried to the hook. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm right next to him. Just on this shit.
Oh, he sees me anyways. Yeah, come this way. Oh, he's flying. Oh, I thought I ducked. I thought I ducked. I need to warm up again. No, I thought I ducked. That was unfortunate. He was a fairy. Yeah. He was a fairy. Yo, yeah, it's lifting me off my feet or whatever. Honestly, sometimes you need a man to sweep you off your feet. Right, Momo? Well, thank you.
Ooh, shit. That almost got me.
Thank you, Darlene. You're the best. .com. Thebest.com. Here, Darlene, I'll give you this canister.
Just had to test out yet? Like, burner that? Okay. Alright.
Good try, Momo. Good try. Oh, he won't fall for it. He won't take a swing. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, he's coming flying. I hate you. Oh no. I think I go down here. Yeah, right by hook too.
Damn, that'd be so fun.
He has the thing for the Aurela. It's giving. I'm gonna kill these Aurelas. It's feeling targeted. It's feeling like a hate crime. Let's ponder. So when are me, Rosa, and Momo gonna kiki again? Dude, okay, wait. I'm gonna write you guys in a group chat to see if y'all want to play tomorrow. On stream, because I'd totally be down to run games tomorrow on stream. It always feels like I hate crime on my baby girl. Like is it a coincidence that Momo and I are the only two on Death Hook with any hooks at all until right now? It feels like more than a coincidence. Almost intentional, even. And look, right back on my hook. Here, I'm gonna run right toward him. Run right through his ass. Right? Exactly. Like, is this a coincidence? Let's talk about it. What do we do? What do we do? Let's heal Momo. Heal Momo.
You got nothing to worry about. I got you.
He just standing
And then
there.
you guys can 99. Or actually fully heal me. Fully heal me.
I wonder what this killer is doing, just standing there. What's he?
Looking us up? Is he looking us up? Be honest. Or is he gonna DC? I don't think he's gonna DC. I think he's looking us up. It's giving. I'm googling something real quick.
Check my credentials.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Vecna, are you in chat? Be honest. Did you go look for Darlene? Be honest. Oh, he's okay. He's on the move. He saw all my action. Hi Vecna, if you're here. Hi Vecna. Jam, welcome back. Octa Jam.
Left me.
Yeah, I see him. He's hitting my gen. He knows where I'm at. Like, what? Hi. I guess. Also, if you will have me, I just got home and wouldn't mind playing a few rounds with you. Yeah, let's we can rotate. We'll play another round with this group, and then we'll rotate people out now that I'm working on play. Oh, Vecna. GG's, I suppose. Los GG's. Totally. All the icons have to escape now, you know? Oh, yeah, and I definitely left the match because, you know, if Vecna is here, I don't need him watching my stream, you know what I mean? I hope they're okay. Wishing y'all well.
Momo is dead.
No, Momo! Of course Momo's dead. Are we surprised? I died. It's okay, Momo. You tried really hard. That's all that matters.
Oh, Darlene, I'm gonna need you to let go.
Darlene,
thank
die!
you.
Die, Darlene, die! No. Is it a hatch match? I let go. Jack, don't let go. No worries. Oh, it's Arlene. I'm gonna need you to let go. It's great. I love that. Wolfie. Hi, Wolfie. Welcome in. Get your check-in, friend. How you doing, papas? What's up? We're playing one more match with this group, and then we're gonna rotate people in and out. Star wants to get in.
Where the
Wolfie,
fuck
do
is
you
this
want to
hatch?
get in? Get in with little old me. We're also in we're in my VC, so if anybody 2 times, Wolfie, let's go. I moved my controller, and although I missed it, it counted me as trying. Oh, don't we hate when that happens? I only have time for 2 games anyway. Oh, perfect. All the friends are here. I'm so excited to see everybody. Wolfie, how was your Saturday? ¿Qué hiciste hoy? ¿Qué hiciste? ¿Qué comiste? What did you eat for dinner? I had some tacos
Hey.
with carne asada. Did you find the hatch?
I did.
You're better.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and step out.
No, stay in. We'll rotate everyone at once.
Oh.
It'll be easier that way for me. Instead of trying to remember how many games everyone's done, I'm gonna just be like, okay, everyone go. We'll just rotate people that way. W hatch, yeah. Monte's gonna get out, as we learned from the last match. Or 2 matches ago, when he was like, I didn't think I was gonna save them. He was like, are they gonna come save me? Because I'm gonna leave. That was funny. These games have been fine. If we get another Vecna, I'm gonna be peeved. Can't do it 3 times in a row. Did we confirm if it was the same person?
Oh, I did not.
As they should. Mm-hmm. Oh, we get some water. Every time, Monte, every time you laugh, I'm like, what are you up to?
I was watching you
Dance?
with your head around.
All my friends are shaking ass tonight. And I was like, I'm not going outside. There's ass shaking at home.
I can do it right here.
I can do it for the comfort of my home and go to bed after. I can't tell who it is.
Whisker.
Oh. Oh, excuse me. We shake ass here. Uh-huh. Exactly, Monte. Okay. Work. A.
You look at it, I have a map.
Oh, Wesker, please don't come this way. Oh, damn, he's zooming. He was watching you shake that ass, Monte. He said, I need a piece. He said, you gotta get me one of these.
He said, I need that. Excuse me,
He
sir,
left
do you
you
need
and
that?
he's coming to me. I hit the generator, honestly. Oh my god. Take this. No! Oh, Monte, can we talk about it real quick? Like, You wanna hold hands? You wanna hold hands? Can we hold hands?
Good luck.
Oh no, he wants my ass. Oh. He's coming right for the gen, Momo. Oh no, he isn't. He went outside. He's looking for Darlene. He's looking for. Oh, he's looking for Monte. He's looking for Monte. He's looking for Monte. Give it to him. There's nothing a twink likes more. Momo, touch me, Momo. Go, go, go.
That really hurt.
Darlene, run. Not me screaming right next to him. Woo! He mind gamed me so bad. I hate myself for that. That was crazy. Hello? Did you see that? What was that hit? Literally. He played my ass. Where are you going, Wesker? Where are you going? You don't even know where my friends are at. Is that for Momo? Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna switch back to Gabe after this match, is what I'm gonna do. I kinda wanna go to a real generator yeah, over here.
I'll go for the save.
So I was greedy with the gen. It's okay, it's okay. We need to be greedy with the gens, you know what I mean? Oh, so I was also greedy with the gen, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna hit that. I won't talk about it. Damn. Okay, okay. Hi, Ken. Welcome back, Ken. How are you? Ken, how's the rest of your Saturday? I'm not sure I asked you that earlier. Okay, Wolfie. Okay, Wolfie. I didn't know you had. Okay, I didn't know you had it like that. Good. I'm just rotting. Okay. You're rotting, but you're rotting with us. Yes. Okay, Wolfie, let me find out. How come you don't dance like that on stream? It was good, fun games.
Oh, wee. Oh, wee.
I just want to get the gen done. Hey. Oh, Momo. Momo, my hero. I'll wait for you to finish. And I'll give it. Well, that's not. Did he already dash? She dashed to even get there. No, just on Momo. I think is Darlene on the way to you? No, Darlene's doing it.
Yes.
I can go get save.
Oh, no, she's here.
Okay, bet. Don't be lying. Monty says that I'll get banned on Twitch if I do that. You know, I don't think that's true. We should test that theory. Wolfie, just do it next stream. We'll test it. I'm trying to see something real quick.
Sorry.
Don't be lying. Choking you. Here. That's bombs. Momo, you are an icon. You keep looping that hoe. Jealous. Ash, you're so close. You're so close to rotting, Ash. I promise. Just a little bit more time. We're almost done. That's the theory. Okay, we shall be waiting for you to twerk, Justin. Oh, there's tons of videos out there of me twerking. You're just not looking. You're just not looking hard enough. All right, Momo, you icon. Oh, literally so close. I know. Me at me. Do you know you have 30 minutes? LOL. Well, did you know you had 30 minutes? Well, damn. Jinky Scoob.
Got to save.
Okay, bet, because I'm literally just on the gen. Blood gen.
Oh, it's coming back.
It's gonna be the longest 30 minutes ever. No. 30 minutes is gonna go by so fast because we're gonna play games. So you're just gonna pretty much be here the whole time we're playing, you know? And there's only 30 minutes left of stream, you know? Oh, wait, just on Momo? Momo, come here. Momo, come here. Momo, come here. Yes. Momo, come here. Come here. Come here. Go, go, go. Go. No, Momo. Let me take this hit for you. Go, go, go. Keep going. I don't want you to die. I don't want you to die. Nice. Go, go, go. Momo. Momo. Good vault. Good vault. Go, go, go. I don't have conviction, unfortunately, but I'd rather take the down so that you can get out. Go, 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 go. Nice. Just run. Keep running. Keep running. He goes for the pick. Ooh, that would have been sexy. That was also low key. I think you could have stunned him if came for the pallet.
There's a pallet
I
right
don't
there.
know. Yeah. You should have called it. I'm sorry. Oh. No, Monte's had incredible saves
there
tonight,
was-
okay? Monte has had incredible saves.
Right, well, if you shut the hell up. Oh,
Now Monte's been using that flashlight. I've seen Monte use that flashlight. I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
yeah.
I see what you can do with a flashlight. Strings on my chest, that fits your skin. Honey bitches and the stickiest weed.
I'm sorry, I'm going back to the hook. I have nowhere to go.
Stupid hook.
The way Wesker doesn't even want Darlene is kind of crazy.
He left me.
Yeah, he sees Darlene. Oh, dude, Scooby Doo in this bitch.
There's no pallet here. I'm
Did you use that hard? Oh my god. Thank you, Darlene, you god. Sorry, Monte. I went for the gen. I know Momo's working on one, but I wanted to get progress.
You're good.
I wish Monte had that kind of dedication when we play. You know, there's just something about me and Monte
don't
together.
don't get me started.
Monte's like, I'm your carry. What are you talking about?
Well, let's not start, cause I could talk about how you were playing earlier.
Oh, you heard that, Wolfie? Monte said, mind your business.
Yeah.
No, Darlene! Darlene had a freaking... Come here. Darlene had a pallet. Oh, you want clips? Is that my Justin baby? It is me. Vox, how are you? Welcome in. Vox, tomorrow I will be playing Pokopia again for half the stream. So please come visit my island and ride the roller coaster. Momo. Okay, Momo's opening the door in the back. I can help with saves or heal you first.
I'm in main.
Yeah, I see you. Come to the outside, around the corner. I can heal you up here. Then we can all take hits for Darlene, and then have Darlene get out. W4K, 4 out. Let's go.
Wait, maybe I should do this door. This one's closer.
Okay, yeah.
Just hang in there. Hang in there, girl.
Yeah, at least it's still first hook. Oh, he saw me. Oh, he left. Where did you go, sir? Sir. Momo.
Alright, let's go.
Oops, wrong one. Oh my god, Wolfie with the receipts is crazy. Get it. No! Momo, keep running! Go, get out! Just run, full run! Yes, Momo! W, Momo!
Now I gotta do my
Wesker,
aura walk.
Wesker!
Right.
It was Monte walking in such a slow motion, it's crazy. He's chilling with me. 4 out, yes, 4 out! And this is how you wrap it up with the Swift, okay? GG's, guys. Thank you, Monte, for the saves. All the saves. You saved me so many times.
Sweet.
GG's, guys. Alright, I'm resetting the lobby. Thank you guys for playing. Who else wants in? Thank you, Monte. Monte, I love playing. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for the game.
And I owe you a
I'll be
picture.
back
I owe you
and
a picture.
watching.
Okay.
Well,
period.
yes.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
of plans. Yeah.
Yeah, of her
Forgot.
plans. Okay. Bye. Okay. I know if Star is still here, we're gonna get some games with Star. And Wolfie, did you want in? That's 2 spots. Wolfie and Star and King Mas. ¿Quieres jugar? Who else wants to play? Yeah, Wolfie's playing. I'm also in my VC if you guys want to join the VC just for comms.
이건 꿈이야.
I think this will be honestly, this is probably going to be the last rotation because I need to get to bed. It's 9:30 already. So we might just end after these 2 matches. So if there's not a 4th person, a new person that wants to join, there is a spot open. I think we're just going to open it up to whoever wants to play. First person to request in will get the spot. But I have to open the store tomorrow, so I'm going to bed pretty soon. And I should probably end after these 2 matches because it'll take like the next 30 minutes. I would say I would join, but I'm very busy, exhausting day. Oh no, Vox, tell me about your day. How'd you go? How'd you go today? Like, what'd you do? Grabs popcorn, period. Get your feet up, Monte, after all that running. Darlene, Momo, if you wanted to hop in for these last matches, these are the last 2 matches. Oh, period. I knew Wolfie couldn't resist. Then you leave. And then you leave.
It was literally.
Fuck off, no. It was great. I had fun with friends, but a rock hit my windshield? No way. How bad is the damage? I'm back. How is stream going? Julian! Welcome in. Well, you're just in time for our last 2 matches. This is going to be the last lobby. If no requests, I'll come back. Yeah, if nobody else wants in, I can get Monty back in here. Monty, we'll just go for it, Monty. Just come back. Come play with me.
Do it.
W last games. Hi, Star.
Hi.
The icon, the legend, the magnificent, the incredible.
Oh, so the carry.
Star, yeah. Star is the carry for sure.
Period.
Thank you.
Let me
But
just do
I
the gen.
am not carrying.
Wolfie, that video I sent you of that Legion game,
Did someone say carry?
of that
Which one?
that YouTube video that I sent you, of that Legion match.
Oh yeah.
Star was in that video too. And I wish
I
our
thought I remember.
I wish
was
our
like,
VC was
"Hmm."
recorded in that because we were hooting and hollering the whole time, just laughing and running around and chatting. It was so funny. That was such a funny game.
Hmm. I'll
Mhm.
never forget it.
Unforgettable, truly. And then Ryan got the hatch. I don't have that in the
Exactly.
video, but Ryan literally got the hatch at the end of the game. Oh man, you're able to fix it today? Okay, Vox, that's incredible because honestly, I would have struggled. I would have honestly crashed out if I couldn't be able to fix it like immediately. So I'm glad you got it fixed. I'm also glad you had fun with friends though. So it's like, you know, happy medium. Quite the balance.
Oh, my Sable sister.
Period. Look at that.
Yes.
Twinning.
Let me just change so they don't get us confused.
Yes.
I'll be able to tell apart.
How so?
Honestly, they look identical to me.
I'd rather not say. Let me just keep it to myself. Let me just say I will now.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I said I was gonna put on Gabe. Oops. Oopsie.
Oh.
It's okay. Next match. The day I met Star. Literally. And now you guys are besties. So
Literally.
look at
meant to
it's
be.
honestly, just in case you forgot, I bring people together, you know?
Mhm.
And that's on puns.
And I brought Monty to you.
Honestly, you did. Live, laugh, love, Monte. This is pretty much Monte's stream at this point.
Oh my god. Don't get it too much.
He's like, oh, really? Let's talk about that. Where's the contract?
Go ahead and send me that payout, thank you.
Monte said, I own 51% of this
Oh.
stream. Oh, it's a Bubba.
Oh.
That was a fastball.
Oh, I just thought you were saying hi to him.
No. Oh, and of course.
Wow.
Oh, I love when
Yes,
I
yes,
love when
yes.
I get saved.
Now my other Sable
Wave
sister
and
was
color.
brother saying.
He mind gave me so hard. Oh my god.
Wait, what did Monty say?
I didn't hear Monte. I was too busy dying.
No one heard.
I was too busy dying.
Nope. He's looking down.
Interesting.
W save. Honestly, the GOAT.
You learned the first time.
Yeah.
Do I need to get just where you at, Monty? So I don't put you.
I'm at color shock.
Monte's in the
There we
back.
go. I don't know where he's at. I'm scared.
No,
He might be coming
he's on
back.
Star. He's on Star. Wait, he's coming back to me. I'm gonna go to Monte.
I'm gonna try and do this, Jen. Oh wait, this is the blood.
Oh, Monte, I'm gonna do the gen right outside.
Okay.
Okay. Deep breath.
Oh. I didn't make it a pallet.
Interesting.
Monte, save me! Wait, goes here. He's at the hilltop.
Oh, he went to Star. Like that hook. No. I'm gonna go get saved. Report Wolfie for getting into a locker. Wolfie, is this true?
Locker.
Oh.
Barely
What
even
was
know
this
her.
locker?
Locker, barely even know her.
I don't think there's a locker in the circus.
Go
Oh,
to
you should have gone
second.
for a star.
No, I thought
Should've gone
he
for
was
star.
over on her. I thought he was over on
No,
her.
wait. Don't get her. Don't get her. Don't get her.
Okay.
She got like the hook.
Hello. Be free.
Run, Star, run. Actually, let me heal you. Come here, come here. Oh no, he's coming right over here.
He
Where is
knows.
he? Oh. Yeah, I'm not over there, fool. Star, please run. We're all hurt so bad.
Oh, he's right there.
Del Monte.
Oh, you.
He left me, he left me, he
No,
left
he's
me.
on you.
Yeah.
Well,
Should've
Monte, the way you look over here is good. The way you look, the way you look through that window was insane. You were like, oh, that's a back of his head. Good call.
I will get the save. He's going to y'all to that gym.
He saw me. Oh, he's going towards you?
No.
Actually, I gotta put this down. I'm coming. Don't miss any skill checks.
I'm not. I already missed one. Oops.
Oh.
No, Wolfie.
What's this?
Wolfie, what?
I'm at
How do you?
120.
How are you?
What?
You're a death hook. Oh.
Oh.
That was right in his eyes.
Guess I'm off the
It was.
We're on East servers. That's probably why.
I. Yeah. That's why I didn't.
Alright.
I keep forgetting you're on E.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. I should have checked my phone before we started. Well, like, my dead heart should have gone off.
You want me to heal you?
100.
No, that's fine. Actually, I don't have that heart, so yes. Where are you?
I'm here still.
Oh.
It's a chop.
You got this.
Mm-hmm.
Got this. I'm gonna go for the save.
Yeah, I'll be bait, I guess. Here he comes. How did he know I was right there? He must have seen my aura.
Ow.
He definitely saw my aura.
Okay,
Behind. I was
yeah.
literally crouched, hiding.
I'm gonna heal you. And I'm gonna try to loot this man.
GG.
Disabled sisters got it.
Yes. Thank
We
you.
believe.
We
I won't finish,
believe.
gotta go.
I'm glad I dodged the bubble lobby. Momo, you know what? You know what, Momo?
Oh!
Leave Bubba alone.
Alright, this is good, this is good.
Busted hand of the king. Interesting. Run, Monte, run.
Gonna fake it.
Yeah, mama.
Where did she
I'm a
go?
disabled sister.
Oh, I see.
Trying to process where Monte went.
Is that Bam Bam? Does anybody know?
See?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, he does. Bubba.
P92 Arella. I'm so close, I know. Oh, incredible. Increíble.
Ooh, girl, that got your skirt a bit.
Mama,
Just a
I
bit.
love eco service, girl. He left me.
Interesting. No, he's still hovering, huh? No. We're so close, Momo. We're so close to P100. We might even P100 her tomorrow, low key, if you have some good games.
Tonight?
No, tomorrow. I have to get off. I literally have to get off like after our next match. I go to bed. I have to be up at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh,
Another
wait.
P100 Arella enters the fog. Yes, and that would be my second P100. Look at me grinding. He's at main. Oh, he doesn't know where you are, Star. He probably hears you too.
Yeah, because I'm loud.
Just moaning and groaning. Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know where you are. He just hears you moaning. They can't find you.
Not chancing it.
Okay, he's on Star. Honestly, just pre-drop. Oh, did he just bam that window? That's so rude. How nasty and how... Just pre-drop, low-key. Let Monte do his thing over there. No! No! Nasty.
He's too fast.
He's so fast. You did good, though. Monte's done with another gen.
Yes, get hatch, get hatch. I believe in you, Sable sister.
Thank you. Your sacrifice is appreciated.
Come on. And, oh! What a view.
100?
That was crazy.
Hour, Bubba. Holy.
Okay. Let's make a Lobbies.
If only you had Dead Hard.
Nice, Monte. Oh, go, 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 go. There aren't a lot of pallets left, okay? Just FYI. Yeah, I mean, Star had to literally pre-drop so much.
Fuck, I can't hear shit. I was trying to look around.
I know, GG. 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 I'm dropping? Yeah, started being like, I'm pre-dropping, I'm pre-dropping. Just kidding, that was me. I just ripped my headset off. Hold on. Alright, last match. Last game, best game.
I recognize
Last game, best game.
from a bar store.
We got it, we got it.
Yeah, just, you know, thoughts and prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Vox! Vox, I'm so sorry to hear about your car. That's so frustrating. I hope it wasn't too expensive to repair, either.
It was too expensive.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me change my skin again. I keep saying that and I never do it. It wasn't that my insurance paid for it. Oh, nice. Okay. That's good to know that your insurance was able to cover that repair. Because sometimes insurance is not cute. Sometimes they're like, oh, you didn't pay for that. You actually paid for very minimum damages. And this is a major damage, so we can't cover that. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's your car. You pay for it, is what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah. They're like, well, you're the one that got it damaged. Like, why do I have to pay? Mm-mm-mm. They are running back and forth upstairs, just loud as hell.
Oh.
I can hear them. I can hear the house shaking. My neighbors have 2 little kids. They're always running around.
You'd be like the neighbor from Friends that like
No, it's a
hits
skull
the
mark.
ceiling with a broom.
Oh yeah, literally.
Oh, I hate this skull merchant.
Oh, it's Ariana Grande.
Skull merchant? Mm.
Ariana Grande shirt.
Mommy?
Just a little bit. Oh, she saw my ass. Can I get a whiff in the chat, please? Big whiff off the skull merchant. Honey girl, that's not right. That's not right.
Oh.
Oh, she is greedy for these pallets. Oh, she's greedy for it. Sniff, sniff. She loves the sniff. Honestly, I've gotten some good whiffs on these killers. They love to smell me.
Good
They
one?
smell so good.
Friends
I smell so good. Oh.
Like proxy.
Where's she
So back to
going? Yep.
Thank you, Star. I'm
Trying to get back on.
sorry.
No, you're good.
She left you. What?
oh shit, it's come back.
I think she just wanted to get a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, who's going after you, Monte? She wants you.
My turn. My turn. Got the toes out and everything.
You have to pay extra.
I got the toes out for Skull Merchant. Hashtag feet for Skull Merchant. I'm gonna go refill this can because I didn't get to use it at all.
Oh shit, I forgot about that fucking haste. Oh!
Good try.
Thank you.
Friends? Okay.
All right, time to refill it. Refill it. Refill it. I think about you. I think about you.
Should I finish this, Monte, and then get you, or?
Yeah, you can finish it. I got hang time.
Okay.
Oh no,
Oh,
Star.
shoot.
Okay,
Got to go now.
She's bringing me closer. She's
Now,
going back.
is she going to main or back to the hook?
Back to hook.
Hook,
Okay.
hook.
You can hang out there. I'm gonna finish this
On
Gen Star and
me.
then go get Star. I'm doing the Gen and main, Wolfie, just FYI. Chase.
Okay. Why do you? Oh, lovely. Love that for me.
Let's go.
Put a little drone here. Okay, that's fine. Monte, save me. Oh,
Oh hell no.
yep. He's gonna go kick the middle gen first.
I'm going for Wolf. Oh no, she sees me. She
Going
sees me.
to main.
I can go for save.
I'm gonna take her away from the hook. Oh, she's going back to
coming
hook.
back.
She's going back.
I don't see her anymore.
You know, she's going back towards main.
Is that general's done? Probably, right? With your can?
Oh, go, go, go.
I don't know what you. Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah, I probably need one more.
Okay, I'm gonna come right.
She's on me.
I'm gonna rub these bones real quick. Hold on, cause I'm at 99.
Okay.
deadlock. I'm trying to do the middle.
Okay. Oh. Does she come
Alright,
after
I can
me?
get
'Cause I'm
safe.
exposed.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, she's going towards main.
Okay,
What the?
well,
Not the
she,
wall.
she really waited.
Okay.
She really waited.
I'll try to go for save.
Monte. I'm doing Monte's middle gen.
Yeah, Monty's running over to you, Loki. But I don't. No, he's going away. Never mind.
In the middle, in the middle.
I'm gonna go to Wolfie Star.
Okay, do you want me to work on the gen here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
because
Okay.
Monte's gonna have to probably come stay over
Actually,
here.
you're right. Actually, Star. I'm gonna do this to Star then, because it has less progress. And
She's off me.
if anything, Star can heal me after.
Careful, I think she might be going towards you too.
Yeah, she's here, she's here. Oh, no,
Is she
no,
really
no.
tunneling? Oh my God, you brokey! You're a brokey.
She
is what
kind of
you are.
has to.
She's gonna get me.
No.
Oh.
Well, Monte try to save. Monte is gonna try to save, I think, right? No.
I'm gonna try to work on the door then.
I'm healing. I'm healing a lot.
Curl out, sister.
No, where are you? Where are you?
no way out.
It's no way out. No, Star. No.
It's okay. Let me die.
No.
Save
Get
yourself.
Star.
It's just not my night.
No.
Okay, we're chilling.
Uh-oh.
She's leaving me though. She's going to y'all running.
Was it Monte?
I'm at the other door. Oh no.
But
Oh.
I don't know how my dead are. Yeah.
So I'm going for Monte because she left us. Actually, no, she left the slug.
Hold on. Don't. Let me
Yeah,
call
I
out of
see,
the
I see.
thing. Oh, she's.
My God,
Her drone
keep missing my skill
dropped.
checks. I just missed two, so.
Oh.
I think it's over for me.
Oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap on Justin. It is.
Uh,
Oh.
Dissolution.
We sure did try.
I'm going to make it again. Girly. She wants to kill on me. Oh no, she doesn't. She wants to kill on Wolfie for some reason. I guess.
Oh no, please.
Not the Mori on Wolfie. No, GG's. GG's. Well, that was a good last match. We got the gens done. You know, we gotta take the little wins. Oh, why'd she swing at you?
I don't know.
That was weird. She put you down?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, she's coming in.
Thank you.
Oh, how do you get out? Now,
Trust it.
this sounds fake.
Thank you. Just.
Not her moonwalking.
Just go. Just.
It's because you're both wearing ponytails.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I was
It's a
just thinking
ponytail at
that.
all.
It's the ponytail.
Honestly, she a baddie, she knows she a 10.
Just in case.
You.
I knew it.
Killer. Killer.
No.
GG's. GG's. Good try.
I was like, there's no way.
Just in case. Exactly. You did it too soon.
That's crazy.
GG's. What a good match. GG's, guys. Thank you for the game.
Thank you.
Come back
for the
tomorrow
game.
for more games.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm gonna be streaming too. Please come back.
Yes.
And for longer.
Think about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll have cookies. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, y'all. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for games. Thanks everybody for being here. This means so much to me. Also, let's not forget our new friend, the Umbreon. We got Umbreon today, and now she kind of lives back there. I'm so excited. Wolfie, I forgot to tell you to look at Umbreon back here. Like, this is a new purchase. She's new to the stream. Who should we raid tonight? We can raid Jake. I think Jake's about to get off, actually. They have no game open. Let's just raid Terry. Terry's playing late night Fortnite. Probably, for me? Yeah, just for you. Doesn't she look amazing? I'm so excited about it. Let's raid Terry. He's playing Fortnite. I'm not gonna hang in there long. Because I have to head to bed and I have work, unfortunately. But Terry is the whole vibe. 420 friendly for the smokers and tokers out there. And yeah, he's just a West Coaster. He's a real one. I've known him for so long too, like since I started streaming. Anyway, Thanks all of you for being here and hanging out with me. This stream is only fun when you guys are here, and I do this to hang out with y'all, and it means so much to me when people come and hang out with me. It really does. So I hope to see you all tomorrow. We're going to go live at 2:30 p.m. CST. So mark your calendars. I think we're gonna start with Pocopia, but Momo, I'm gonna write to you, Star, and Ryan to see if you guys want to run us with for DVD after Pocopia or before, depending on how everything's working. Because I'd love to run some games with you guys. That'd be great. I appreciate you. Everyone, go enjoy the raid and show Terry some love because he deserves it. We all do. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.